Pawn shop inventory paints a picture of the real economy and the slowdown in the real estate market. Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video with your friends. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Today, I read an article on yahoo.com put out by USA Today and written by Lauren Villagran titled, "Pawn Shops Know Something About the U.S. Economy That Biden Doesn't. Times Are Still Tough." The author of this article referenced Clay Barron from El Paso, Texas, who said, "Right now, we have a glut of inventory, which tells me that our clientele doesn't necessarily have the money." The author said accumulating pawn shop inventory means fewer buyers than sellers, a sign that for the lowest income Americans, times remain tough. The author went on to say, 2 years of steep inflation has hit working families hard, especially those living paycheck to paycheck. Well, my friends, this is interesting information. During the Great Financial Crisis, I vividly remember watching a news report about people in wealthy Florida communities unloading whatever they could at pawn shops to get cash, including luxury watches, diamond rings, and artwork. I'm sure right now, many wealthy people who own real assets are in better shape than working families because people with assets have seen their wealth rise along with inflation. Now that could all possibly change if we see the housing market deflate or the stock market correct. Understand, I'm not predicting that either is going to happen. Could either happen? Sure, it's possible. Anything is possible. While the stock market is still on a roll, the housing market does seem to be slowing in some areas. I was talking with a mortgage loan originator today who told me business is terrible. He knows of several mortgage professionals who recently went out and got full-time jobs, and they are now doing mortgages part-time because they can't make a living in the mortgage industry due to the slowdown. To use his words, he said the 3 rate cuts that the Fed is planning later this year is just going to be like spitting on a fire. Getting back to the article, the author referenced Laura Wasilewski, who is a spokesperson for the National Pawnbrokers Association, as saying, "Pawn balances have risen across the country in the past 2 years, and the reasons include cost of living increase, lack of access to credit, short-term emergencies, and the fact that 50% of American households do not have $1,000 in savings to cover those emergencies." Well, my friends, this is a sign of the times here in America for many people. My heart goes out to people who are put into a situation where they have to sell their personal property at a pawn shop. Some pawn shops often buy items for pennies on the dollar because they know some people are desperate. Understand, I'm not bashing pawn shops. I'm not saying all pawn shops do this. I said some pawn shops often buy items for pennies on the dollar. Now realize they are taking a risk. What they are buying could end up being stolen. They may also have a hard time selling what they buy, and they may have to sit on the inventory for a while. Some people may be better served trying to sell their personal property online for more money. I personally would never sell anything at a pawn shop. I have sold personal property before, but I strategically placed my items with auction houses that use a variety of online auction platforms that reach a wide audience around the world. I also wrote detailed descriptions for the items that I was consigning with keywords that would result in more online traffic. If you can be patient and invest some time in marketing the personal property that you want to sell, you may be able to realize a higher return. For some people, it is easier to just carry their personal property into a pawn shop and find out how much money they can get for it. The author of this article went on to indicate First Cash Holdings Incorporated, which operates 1,200 pawn shops, reported record pawn receivables in its most recent year-end earnings report and a 10% increase in inventory at its U.S. stores. Easy Corp Incorporated, which owns 530 pawn shops in the U.S., reported an 8% increase in inventory at U.S. stores. In my opinion, this is very telling. From everything that I read, a segment of the American population is struggling financially. Perhaps some can no longer turn to credit cards or buy now, pay later loans. Some may be tapped out and need cash now. Some may need that cash just to deal with the debt that they already have. There were over 3,000 comments beneath this article. I'll share some of them with you that I found interesting. One person said, "Everything is much more expensive than it was 3 or 4 years ago. People need cash to make ends meet." Another commenter said, "Wall Street celebrates daily with AI, but so many Americans are in debt. And on the streets today, it reminds me of 2007 when homelessness was all over. Buy now, pay later is a recipe for disaster. Those who are promoting this know that people cannot pay their bills and that inflation is killing them. Jerome Powell is promoting stocks while the consumers are on their knees having to pay more and buying less. How long can it last?" The last comment that I'll share with you came from someone who said, as a mechanic that often frequents pawn shops to upgrade tools at a more affordable price, "I can assure you that times are truly tough. You can tell by their influx of inventory off the streets. If you were fortunate enough to have gotten a raise in the last 4 or 5 years, it was absorbed by the inflated price of groceries and other goods. This president can't exactly run on this fictional great economy." What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Today I read an article on Yahoo Finance put out by the Financial Post and written by Shantae Campbell titled, "Home Sellers Forced to Confront New Market Realities This Spring." According to the author, home sellers are awakening to a new sobering reality as the spring real estate market blossoms into action. The era of frenzied bidding wars and soaring profits in urban centers appears to be receding, replaced by a landscape where they must navigate price cuts, lukewarm buyers, and mortgage approval challenges. Before I get started sharing my thoughts, please understand this is a story coming out of Canada. I still think it is important to pay attention to what is happening in other countries, many of which have seen a lot of exuberance in their real estate markets in recent years. Rarely does anything, including real estate, go straight up forever without dips. I'm not saying real estate over the long term won't do well. History has proven that it can be a great investment. However, the mania from the past few years in the real estate market appears to have burned out to a degree, at least in some areas. Getting back to the article, the author said almost 60% of all homes sold in the Greater Toronto Area have sold below asking so far this year, according to real estate listing website House Sigma Incorporated. This is as of March 21st. In Vancouver, 71.8% of homes have sold below asking so far this year. Those percentages are what really caught my attention about this article, which is why I decided to report about it even though this is coming out of Canada. I know some of you in the comment section are going to cite examples of pending properties in your area of the United States that are selling for crazy money. Understand, real estate is very local. Some areas may be hotter than others. In this current era with close to 7% mortgage rates, things are different than they were in recent years. I read another article today on Yahoo Finance put out by Reuters and written by Lucia Mudikani titled, "U.S. New Home Sales Fall, Median Price Lowest in More Than 2.5 Years." The author referenced a report from the Commerce Department on Monday that showed the median new house price last month was the lowest in more than 2.5 years, while supply was the highest since November 2022. Builders are ramping up construction while offering price cuts and other incentives, as well as reducing floor size to make housing more affordable. Well, my friends, builders have a long way to go in my opinion. I really am not impressed by the asking prices or the quality of construction from a lot of big home builders these days. Many of these newly built homes are incredibly overpriced in my opinion. Sure, some of these homes are trendy looking and align with what you see on some of those home design shows on television, but the quality is often terrible. Some are built by subcontractors of other subcontractors of other subcontractors. I would never purchase a new construction home unless I hired an inspection company to come out and inspect the build during each phase. Many people unfortunately believe the builder has their best interest at heart and they will be getting a quality built home with no problems. This is often not the case. Many people don't even think a home inspection is necessary for a new build. Trust me, spending money on a good home inspector for a new build can really prove to be beneficial. Note I said a good home inspector, and I also said the word can. It's certainly possible the inspection may not reveal any problems, which is why I used the word can. Personally, I don't think that happens very often, even with new builds. An inspector could reveal a lot of defects that you could get the builder to correct before closing. Let's hope prices in the real estate market soften further. There are a lot of people renting right now and dreaming of being homeowners someday. I hate to see people throwing money away on rent. I'd love to see some patient people get an opportunity to pick up their dream homes at fair prices in the future. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.